Well, we are tracking Tropical Storm Francine, which is set to become a hurricane today, making landfall potentially as a Category 2 storm in Louisiana. So as of the 10 a.m. update, Francine, not yet a hurricane, but we'll get there. It's expected here sometime today. Currently winds at 65 miles an hour, the maximum sustained winds, 74 miles an hour as when it's officially a Category 1 hurricane. It is becoming better organized. It was starting to see those clusters of storms become a little bit more defined. There is activity out ahead of it, already headed towards Louisiana, and could strengthen quite a bit more here before it makes landfall. The expected track right over the central Louisiana coast. Now this is a shift a little farther east, and of course New Orleans is in the eastern part of the state, so always watch that track very carefully when we're looking at the Louisiana coastline, because a lot of this central Louisiana coastline, there's not a whole lot there, but it is going to make landfall probably. These are the hurricane force winds reaching midday tomorrow, and then the eye will slowly dissipate, move over Mississippi, but the center of the storm probably will go over New Orleans. But when it comes in from the west, maybe the worst storm surge will not quite hit the New Orleans area. These are some of the wind gusts over 100 miles an hour along the coastline. New Orleans is when we get it, when it comes straight up from the south, that's when that worst storm surge can come in along with some of the strongest winds. But we are expecting potential for 6 to 8 plus inches of rainfall. There will be some locally higher amounts. This is the high resolution rapid refresh model, and it has over a foot of rainfall in parts of those areas. And of course, if you know anything about the Louisiana coastline or all of southern Louisiana, pretty flat. So not a whole lot of places for that rain to go. We are expecting up to a 10-foot storm surge here along the central Louisiana coastline, but even New Orleans, we'll see at least a few feet of some storm surge. And again, it all really depends upon the exact track of a storm coming in for New Orleans proper. But tropical storm force winds will already reach the Louisiana coastline late tonight into early tomorrow, with those hurricane force winds coming in later in the day tomorrow. Now, one of the things they're looking at in the forecast discussion from the Hurricane Center is how much will the storm intensify. We've been seeing more and more in our modern times with the very warm oceans, these rapid intensification scenarios. I've talked a lot about that, where over warm waters you can see a big boost before it makes landfall. Now the waters have cooled a little bit here, and it might be too small of an area to make much of a difference. Most of the Gulf is well above normal, but there is just some slight cooling in the recent week or two right along the Texas-Louisiana coastline. And of course, 2023 and 2024 running neck and neck for record ocean temperatures. The normal way down here, but we sit right about where we were last year. And so the official definition for rapid intensification, 35 mile an hour or more increase in 24 hours. 79% of major tropical cyclones intensify rapidly. And this is something, as I mentioned, with climate change that's happening more and more when we compare it to 40, 50 years ago. There are more storms that are intensifying rapidly. Now, the season has been fairly quiet so far this year, even though the forecast was for a pretty intense season. So we'll see what the rest of the season brings. But for now, we're watching Francine.